am your host, Shane Carlson. Folks, I know, I know, it's been a long time. And uh, yeah, I thought I would come on days before Halloween 2023 and do a little hello, say a little bit about what's going on, a check-in, if you will. And explain a little bit about me, and then hopefully have some time for us to chit chat because we are going live, and I see you folks, some of you folks coming into the live chat. So before we even begin, because we know these lives can be long-winded, so I just want to give an update of a little bit of what's, like I said, what's going on with me in my life. So if those of you who haven't heard, I've recently, it feels recently, but it's been quite a bit of time already. I've relocated to the West Coast, the Seattle area of Washington State. And, I wasn't sure during my big move from New York to Seattle how I was going to be able to, what I was going to be able to do as far as content, video content on my channel. I thought I would sprinkle in some edited videos, do some lives, but I have to be completely honest. Moving, I've done cross country moves or even just a short move. They're some of the most difficult things to put yourself through, financially, mentally, physically. And yeah, I still feel like I just got here, getting my bearings. And, it's just, yeah, starting a new life here has been very challenging. And what this has meant is that I haven't been able to really dedicate myself to the Candle Enthusiast channel. And, I've done this before, as you guys know. I kind of go away for long stretches, but it's always harder for me to kind of be absent during this time of year because this is my favorite time of year, is my favorite time of the year to create content without question. Halloween, fall, Thanksgiving, Christmas time. It's always been the time of the year that has inspired me to create art, just in general. But the truth of the matter is, I don't know what my plans are, how I'm going to incorporate making new videos, new content. Everything is on a solid pause right now while I'm very much adapting to my new life. I have a new job, and we all know what that's like. It's incredibly challenging, the amount of hours that I'm putting in just to kind of make up the money that I have spent to pull this move, pull this move off. It was a very expensive endeavor for me, and I'm still kind of suffering from the whiplash of that financially. And so my time has really been devoted to working, saving money, getting things in order, trying to get comfortable. And I have to be completely honest. At the end of my work week, there's just very little left in me to actually go out and put my best foot forward to make creative content, because I just don't want to, half arse it. I can't do that. I can't. And whenever I've said this in the past, be like, okay, you folks will say to me, well, you're busy right now and there's other things going on, but just do a live. I can't do that. I don't know what it is about me, but when I can't half-arse things. Doing a live while I'm not actively creatively making content just doesn't feel right. I think there's a satisfaction that I need to meet within myself uh, artistically. And if I don't feel like I am making things, doing a live kind of feels uh, like what am I trying to promote? What am I trying to yeah. So you know, I'm a very I have a lot of idiosyncrasies, and I think something that time has proved time and time again is that when I go, I don't call them hiatus, but when I'm just not producing content, I'm gone. You know, like I need to separate myself from it. So there's comments that I receive on videos, there's emails that I receive from you guys, and 99% of them are always incredibly supportive and positive. And I feel, you know, again, when I'm not in the YouTube mode, it's hard for me to kind of keep up with this correspondence. And I don't want to send email responses or comment responses that are half arse. That's going to be I'm going to change the title of this video to half arse. So what I tend to do, and I don't like this about myself, but I tend to just, you know, I shuffle through the comments that I receive, the emails and all the really nice things. And I say, well, I'm going to write them a really nice email soon. But that never ends up happening. And I absolutely apologize about this, keeping in contact with you folks. But I just want to be clear that because I think a lot of folks may not understand how much of a passion the Candle Enthusiast project was for me. And if I can't do it 100%, I just don't want to do it at all. And I'm just waiting for a moment where I get that creative push, that inspiration to be like, it's time for me to go back to YouTube and produce a bunch of videos. And inevitably, I will probably eventually go away again. You know, it's what always happens. I'll be around for a few months and then I disappear. It doesn't feel like I'm disappearing, but it feels probably very much to you guys. That's what's happening. So I need time. That's really what this comes down to. I need time to get used to my new life here in Washington, to balance my new work here in Washington with finding that outlet, that creativity that I very much need. My life feels very much, it's missing it right now. I feel very hollow creatively because I'm not really getting the artistic satisfaction that's required for my mental health from work. I need to get it from creating my videos and doing other projects as well. And in time, I will be back. But please, I think if you take anything away from what I'm trying to say now, and these thoughts are very jumbled, I apologize, is that I'm not giving up. I'm not throwing in the towel. I'm not neglecting you guys. I'm not neglecting the channel. I just, this has been a very long year for me, a very challenging year for me. And I just need time to, to organically get back to a place where I'm ready to make videos. Am I going to be doing candle content? I don't know. I don't have any of my candles with me. Everything is in storage across the country. I really don't know if I want to be investing in hundreds and thousands of dollars a year in candles. It's really just not a part of my lifestyle right now. Um, I just I feel like I'm not even home that often. So I will figure it out. But until then, um, hopefully you can understand that I'm transitioning into my new life, and that one of these days, you'll see uploads from me. I am not giving up. I don't think I'll ever really give up the YouTube, the Candle Enthusiast project. And one of these days, I might hit a stride, and maybe there will be a lucky break. But I've been trying to think for weeks now. If I do a live, how am I going to explain my scenario? How am I going to do it eloquently? I really don't have a way. I don't. So I apologize if it looks like I'm just throwing words out, because it's essentially what I'm doing. I'm just I I want to be there. I want to get back um, to producing content that I love. I need time. I take I take a lot of pride in the videos that I do, the videos that I did. May not always look like it, but and it takes a lot of clarity to be able to do that. At least for me, I need to know exactly what I want to be doing to do those things. The good news is I love it here. I love it here. I'm in uh, a beautiful new home, living with beautiful people that I absolutely adore, and the seasons, summer and the autumn, have been wonderful, and very, goes without saying, very picturesque. And on my free time, I have been reading. I can't believe that for so many years I gave up reading. And for the past year, I've been reading religiously every day, and it's been such a passion of mine. I've curated and updated my book collection. I shipped all of my books out here, media mail, and I have them all on new shelves, and I absolutely love it. And I can't tell you how much I look forward to reading on a day-to-day basis. I rush to get home so that I can get in an hour of reading. And that's really what I've been doing for this Halloween season. I pulled out all my Halloween books. I even have some, just some Halloween goodies that I'll put on the coffee table to just thumb through while I'm having my coffee in the morning. And if anyone wants to pick one of those up and go through it, it's my passion for books right now and reading feels very much how I felt about candles. If we fast forward, 5, 6, 7 years ago, it was definitely that thing that I look forward to the most when I was out of the house or at work, and like I want to get home and I want to burn a couple candles. I want to write about them. I want to make my notes. I want to set up little displays. And I'm still burning candles, but it's not a religious thing now. I like, I've enjoyed taking a break from collecting candles, talking about candles, all my friends and family consider me a candle expert. I've never thought that about myself. So it feels good to just walk into Bath and Body Works or walk into like a Home Goods and look at the candles and not feel like I have to be the candle enthusiast. I can just be a customer shopping and looking at the candles and listen to other people's opinions and not necessarily have to share my opinions on candles. And the way it works with me with candles and all of the things that I like to collect is that I usually take breaks from them. Sometimes they're short, sometimes they're rather lengthy, and then I always get back into it. It's kind of like Disney for me. I feel like every 5 years I go through a massive Disney nostalgic explosion where I live and dream Disney all the time, and then it kind of patters out, and then I take a break from it, and then when it comes back, I get excited. It's kind of like the holidays. Speaking of the holidays, Halloween in just a few days. I I've been spending a lot of time just driving around this area, trying to become familiar with the area, learning the roads, the back roads, the different towns and nearby cities. And I've just enjoyed seeing fall in a place that I haven't spent a lot of time in, you know, to pass neighborhoods and see, the leaves building up and blowing across the street, and having those moments when you're driving and you stop at like a stop sign and it's just quiet and you hear the wind and you hear those sounds of the fall. You roll down the windows, the smell is there, the cold is there. It's great to be in a new place. Now, if I was back home, I'm familiar with all of the mental cues, the sensory cues, the smells, the feel of when fall is coming and when fall is happening and when Halloween is inching nearer and nearer. But it becomes such a part of your internal clock that sometimes it's hard to appreciate it because it just feels so normal. But when you're in a new place and you're living there day after day and you're seeing the change of seasons, you're seeing and experiencing, smelling and hearing the sounds of fall coming, Halloween getting closer. It's so incredible. So my recommendation there, because all I can think about when this sort of thing happens is this is why I love traveling. This is why I miss traveling. I'm not a big traveler. Like I'm not an experienced traveler, jet setter, anything like that. I haven't gone to exotic places, traveled abroad a lot. But I think constantly changing locations is a very healthy thing for me because it helps me get in touch with the present, what's going on at this moment. And back in New England, I knew where so many, I was so familiar with so many destinations. Even if I hadn't been to certain places in New England, I knew about them. I heard about them. I've read about them. I watched videos about them. So I was just so familiar with constantly moving around. But out here, I just don't know anything. And getting around is not necessarily as easy with mountain ranges and limited highways. And I'm noticing that the Pacific Northwest is not nearly as tourist driven, or I should say, tourism is not pushed nearly as much as New England, which makes sense, but I sort of was not expecting that. The limitation on destinations, especially affordable destinations out here, is quite shocking. So one of these days, along with going back and making videos, I've realized that travel is going to be more important than ever. long distance travel. So because yeah, and I think just understanding and becoming familiar with places in my general vicinity is also important because I was just like struggling to be like, oh, like there's no apple orchards here, but Washington State is known for apples, but it's really seems to be Eastern Washington. I didn't know that. And to getting to Eastern Washington, not very easy. So I need to be a little bit more of an expert to plan out short little trips to go out and film. How are we all doing? I see you all in the chat area, and I'm not ignoring you guys. I just wanted to chit chat a little bit. Um, uh, Omega says, Shane, where are the decorations? Well, we got some decorations here behind me, but um, I guess my typical child, when I decorate like a child. I decorate like very kitschy style. Like I'm the kind of person who will put out old um, TV guides from the early 90s, late 80s of, October issues of TV Guide. I just throw them around or put out McDonald's Happy Meal pumpkin witch ghost buckets. And uh, I love nostalgia, but all of those fun little things that I used to collect, I didn't get rid of everything, but everything is in storage. I don't, this is the extent of my personal contribution to Halloween decorations. I brought these from New York. These were gifted to me by Liz from Witch City Wicks. And I figured, oh, these will be fun to bring with me to remind me of some of my old Halloween decorations. But all my Halloween decorations are still in New York in storage. Probably freezing cold over there. Uh, and Virgil, thank you so much. I'm just seeing this now for your super chat today. Really appreciate that. And Virgil says, Shane, we have missed you dearly. Glad to see you again. Yeah, thank you. And I've missed you guys too. And it's reminding me because Virgil, I know, has reached out several times. And I kind of addressed that earlier, just, how I apologize that my correspondence has been so poor. Rose says we could do a book club. I would love to incorporate books into my videos or into lives. I don't know how to necessarily incorporate books into content. I am not good at reading aloud. I've never been good at that. So the idea of like even just doing maybe some excerpts from books, readings, like I just feel like that could be so boring for many people, and I am certainly not good at that. But it would be great. And you know what else I'm not good at? Like if we were sitting down, me and you, and we were talking about films. I'm going off Rose's question here. Or not question, but comment. If we were talking about films, I could sit here and share my opinions, break down a film's subtext. I could talk about the performances. I could talk about subjective things in the film, like why I really responded to the film or why I didn't. Like I feel like I have a half decent language of film and cinema to be able to speak about it and have conversations. But when it comes to literature, I don't know if it's like the kid in me that gets really nervous of like having to get up and speak in front of a classroom of students and to the teacher, like share my opinions on literature and the book and to talk about it in a studious way. it makes me nervous. Like if someone asked me what was this movie about, I think I can give a synopsis pretty easily. If someone asks me, "Oh, you're reading this book. How do you like it? And what is it about?" I get very nervous quick. It's about this guy and once upon a time. And I don't know what it is, but until I get over that, whatever that is, I don't think I really could talk about books in a way where it's going to look natural and organic on camera. It's a shame because I've been reading so much and I have like tons of books that I would love to share. I've been trying to read Stephen King. Stephen King, okay, so how do I say this? When I was like 15, 16 years old, uh, I was bit by a Stephen King bug. Like I saw someone reading Salem's Lot in school, and I'm like, ooh, that's really cool. And I like Stephen King, but I didn't read any Stephen King. I only knew Stephen King from the films. So I went to Barnes and Noble as a teenager, and I bought a few books, and I was really starting to get into Stephen King at that time, and I loved it. I was reading the books fast, and like I wasn't, like it made me feel good. I felt like I was going to the gym or something, reading when I was that age, because I knew I was doing a good thing for my mind, to be reading and to be learning and expanding vocabulary and learning how to write. And, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But my point is, years went by. I've read some Stephen King since my teenage years, but I haven't really read that much since in my teenage years. And then last year, I'm like, I wonder if I start reading Stephen King again, if I'll enjoy it as much as I did when I was 15 or 16, or did I only really like it at 15 and 16 because I was into that then. Maybe I wouldn't be as interested. But last year, I picked up Pet Cemetery, and I think since last year, almost exactly, no, last year, late September, so just over a year, I've read, I think 35 of Stephen King novels alone. I've lost count, but it's in the ballpark at 35, which is about half of his lifetime collective works. And obviously, it goes without saying, I'm so thoroughly enjoying reading his work. I mean, they're not all great. Some of them are not even good, but there's still just something about reading work from just one author. You really feel like you get to know the author, or I should say the storyteller. And there's a relationship there, like you feel like you can count on that person with everything that you pick up of theirs. So, yeah, I mean, how great would it be if I had enough in me to be able to do a video for each book that I read? I just don't think I can do that. I'm glad that you guys are actually talking a little bit amongst yourselves. I appreciate that, how well you guys actually get along with each other and remember each other's names, and always great. So any questions, any comments, please share them if you have any. I'll try to answer some of these as I'm kind of going through your comments here. And I'll also talk a little bit about my plans for Halloween. I have no plans. There's this bit that Jerry Seinfeld used to do after his television show ended and years had gone by and he just wasn't in the spotlight so much. he would always say, he would get on stage at the beginning of the show and he would say, people keep asking me, where have you been? What have you been doing? I'm actually doing a little Jerry Seinfeld. I gotta not do that. My impression's not good. What have you been up to? What are you doing? What are you working on? And Jerry would say, nothing. I've been doing nothing. He was being sarcastic, but uh, um, I guess I guess that's what it feels like if you consider yourself to be an artist and you take time off because people ask like, what have you been up to? And you're like, well, wait a minute. I haven't been making any art. I haven't been making any work. I mean, you do so much throughout your day, but I think artists value so much their artwork uh, that life can feel like you're not doing much of anything if you're not creating it. But yeah, so Halloween. I've been trying to think of like what would be a great thing to do for this Halloween, and I think um, Rebekah and I collectively have just decided to like low key Halloween. Let's answer the door and give out Halloween candy. Let's watch some horror films. Let's make some warm beverages and sweet treats. With the amount I've been working, um, it just sounds so delightful to actually just stay in and enjoy Halloween from the couch. Um, that is very much needed. I've also kind of been fighting off a cold, so rest is really uh, very much required. Shane, what have you been up to? I've been working. That's it. I'm reading questions from Venture the Unknown. I've been working and reading, and I'm not ashamed to say it. That's really what my life is. Shane would make a great lion for Halloween this year. Yeah, yeah. Is that the first comment about the hair? I was waiting for a comment about the hair. Do I have anything interesting to share about the hair situation? Is it a midlife crisis? Am I becoming a rock and roll star with the long hair? I don't know what it is. I think I got so frustrated. I've always been frustrated whenever it's time for me to get a haircut. And I just never liked going in to get a haircut. I can't go to a barber with my hair. It doesn't work that way. Like I need to go to a hairstylist, and because I'm always moving, I don't have a hairstylist that I have a good rapport with, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they are not. I don't blame them, but my hair is just a very difficult thing, and I just hate having to like do something to my hair in the morning. Like I can't just brush it back. I have to put products, and there's procedures of blow dryers, and I can't. It just became so frustrating. And last year, I think it was like January, I started a job where I was outside all the time. So I was always wearing a hat. So I didn't have to worry about my hair because it was just underneath a hat. And then it just kept getting longer and longer and longer. And I'm like, oh, this is so easy. Like I don't have to do anything with it. I can put a hair tie around it or just put a hat on. And there was a while there where I'm like, I think it's time to get a haircut. But then I'm like, well, why? Why? It's not necessarily important. So I wish I had a better story. I'm not growing it for any reason other than it's an easy thing for me to do. Venture the Unknown says, are you excited about the new Christmas Yankee Candles? It's interesting how I think this has been going on a couple of years where I maybe you guys can relate to this or maybe not, where when I am not actively really into something, I get anxious when I only like I think when the Halloween candles came out this year, I was getting a little bit anxious. I'm like, oh, I should know. There's like a new candle. I should know about this. This is what I've been doing. Every summer for the past bunch of years, I have been researching and making videos and collecting information. And when I'm not doing that, I kind of feel like, ooh, I didn't do my homework. So I kind of get anxious about it. So the past couple of years, how I've fixed that is I just I casually look and see, oh, this is what Yankee Candle did this year. Okay, cool. And when enough time passes, I'll look back and be like, oh, that they put those out for fall last year. That was interesting. So I feel like once time has passed, I can look back and see what they've done. But I don't plan on buying tons of candles this year for Christmas. So I would be excited to go to Yankee Candle Village and do video evaluations of all the new Christmas candles. But I get a little bit too anxious knowing that I'm missing so much, like what I used to find so fun and what hopefully I will do again. But so to answer your question, I'm interested to see what they're doing, but I'm also a little hesitant to dive deep into it because I don't know. I feel like it does. It makes me a little anxious. I have to, when I went into Bath and Body Works this summer for their Halloween collection, I kind of just had to like casually take it in because there's a lot of emotions like, oh God, how I need to film a video. I need to make something. I like this is what would I say on camera? Like how would I burn this candle or how would I describe it? How would I paint that portrait? And I'm like, no, just relax, just smell the candles and enjoy them. Pick one out, bring it home. You don't need to buy everything. Um, Virgil says, you missed absolutely nothing with Yankee Candle Halloween this year. Well, I think that's the other part of it too. I've been having some conversations. I feel like enough time has passed from like those really early videos that I would do on this channel, the candle evaluations, where I do look at them. People would always say it at the time. They're like, Shane, even if the product line is like okay on certain years, you always are so positive about it. Some people would commend me for that. Some people would criticize, be like you're always so positive. Like share the negatives. And I can kind of see that enough time has passed where I've always tried to approach topics and products, I mean, by being positive and supportive. But I think if I were ever to do evaluations again, I wouldn't be cynical, but I would share a little bit more of my disappointment when it would when it just comes up in a product or a product line or in a company. And yeah, I mean, I I've not been disappointed with Yankee Candle over the past several years, but deep down inside, it just doesn't feel the same. And it just doesn't, I don't want to fake excitement. And I never used to have to fake excitement with Yankee Candle, but now it's kind of like, the last few years that I did at the Yankee Candle Village, like for the Halloween release party, I always felt like, ooh, like I was struggling to hone in on things that excited me because I felt like there wasn't enough enthusiasm coming out. And I think all of that will correct itself in time. At least I hope it does. But yeah, I mean, I think that knowing that like that I missed first year in 7 years that I missed out on the Yankee Candle Village making a video. I used to go all of the time for much longer than 7 years, but I did 7 years in a row of the Yankee Candle Village for Halloween, their Halloween release party, and not doing it this year. I didn't really feel that bad because I really didn't feel like there was much that I was missing, except for the wonderful job that they do decorating the flagship store. But yeah, there's a couple new scents, or only just one, and a bunch of repackages. Very cool, very cool. I I was comfortable enough taking a year off from doing a video from Yankee Candle Village. Now, Santa's Village is another story. Um, I am having sharp pains in the heart about not being able to go to Santa's Village this year. Um, I said I wasn't going to go last year, and I kind of surprised you folks, but I really don't think that's going to happen this year. But I am missing it so much that I really am going to, for myself at the very least, going to have to plan a trip next year. Or I don't know, maybe it won't be in December, but at some point, I think it would be so, I would get so much happiness out of spending a couple days at Santa's Village and just in the deep Northeast in general, that um, that I just might do it. Kay Perez says, go to Leavenworth. Leavenworth is an amazing place, and I've been several times, and absolutely, if you don't know, it's kind of this town that adopted this Bavarian village situation where there's tons of tourism, there's Oktoberfest, there's Christmas celebrations. It's a huge summer destination. There's food, there's shops, and everything looks like it's a massive, cute Bavarian village situation. Um, and um, I think the difference is just is I think people in this area of the world have major wealth money situations. It's not a very affordable thing. I mean, it's almost as expensive at the end of the day as going to Disney World or Disneyland. The price of hotels and the price of food and the, all of the cost. And it's not that I can't afford to do it, but I think the Leavenworth. If you're not familiar with Leavenworth in Washington, you really should Google it because I can't nearly explain how wonderful it is. I mean, it is like the top on so many sites. It's the top Christmas destination to go to in the world. But during the Christmas season, the weather is very challenging to, the roads will close because the elevation's so high and the weather's very treacherous. And there's such a demand for hotel rooms that if you don't have reservations months and months and months in advance, if not years, on certain nights approaching the Christmas holiday, it's impossible. And the crowds are obviously insane. I've never done it, but I've researched enough to know and have spoken with people. Rebekah is very familiar with Leavenworth, and especially during the Christmas season. And it just sounds like, wow, like there's a lot of organization just to make it happen and a lot of money to be spent. So it's not as easy as just like swinging up there. Like you need a place to stay, and you need when the weather gets bad, you need a four-wheel drive vehicle, which I also don't have. I have a little toy car. You guys have seen it, Toyota Yaris. I don't think there's any point in putting chains on that little vehicle. Um, um, but one of these days I will do it. And I think that's one of the big projects I would love to do is kind of a Christmas experience at Leavenworth. Um, it's going to take some orchestration, and probably I've kind of discussed with Rebekah and some friends of like how I would do it, where I think I would go up there and just film the event, get all of that footage, but also kind of soak it up and experience it myself, and then come back home with an understanding of what it's like there at Christmas. Kind of sleep on it and take maybe a week or two, and then go back and actually film like the vlog portion of the video, filming myself, and then kind of splice all of the footage together to make it look like one experience. Because I think what's really hard when you're making a video is trying to share your experience of like, oh, look at this and look at this and look at this. But when you're really concentrating, trying to figure out like, where do I go? Where is this thing that I heard about? Like, where, like, that's not fun to be filming yourself while you're going through that stuff. So having like Santa's Village felt that way. Like the first few years I went there, I didn't know where I was going. I was getting lost in the park, and I was very self-conscious about filming myself and looking lost. But when I go there now, I know the place like the back of my hand, and it's so much more fun. Um, so I'm glad we were able to do this. This is my Saturday morning. It's Sunday, but it's my Saturday morning, and I was having my coffee, and I was like, I really should just say hello to you guys and check in and to let you know everything is okay with me, and that you'll be hearing from me sooner or later, and most of all, it's just to be able to say Happy Halloween, guys. Like it feels so empty to not have you guys with me this time of the year, to not like have you cheering me on like you have in the past when I was putting out videos. I do miss you guys. I do need a break from making videos, and I need to figure things out. But I think about you all the time, and I always wish you all the best. And we'll get back at it. We'll get back at it. We'll have dry periods, but when I am good and ready to pick up that camera again and put in 16-hour-long editing sessions, we'll have those uploaded, but we'll also resume live videos as well. But for now, thank you so much for joining me on this kind of relaxing, very cold Sunday morning for me. The sun has come out, but there was frost on everything this morning. I hope everyone has a beautiful Halloween, a safe Halloween. I think in the comments below, feel free to share your plans, or whether now or when Halloween happens, come back and let me know how your Halloween went. I may not respond. In many cases, I don't respond to a lot of the comments in my videos because I feel like I said earlier, like I want to always respond in the most, a genuine way, but I'm just very bad at sitting down and putting my thoughts out like that. But I read all of your comments, and they mean so much to me. So I will check in with you guys again, hopefully it won't be as long as this dry spell, but I'll check in and yeah, um, continue to live enthusiastically. And I can't express it enough. Spend some time with the family and enjoy the holidays if I don't see you until the new year. Thanks so much, folks. I will be seeing you soon, but until then, always remember to live enthusiastically. Happy Halloween, everybody. Miss you all. Love you. See you soon.